Can you mention some examples of these laws that govern this universe?
Yes, there is a law of thought. Everything starts with thought. There is law of vision. All things are created twice. There is law of words. Words are spiritual containers that carry life and death. Death and life are in the power of the tongue because of the law of words. There's a law of decision. Unless you make decisions, in other words, unless something becomes specific, it does not become dynamic. There is the law of action. You must act. If you're going to see results, you must act. You must overcome yourself. You must overcome inertia. You must act. There's a law of systems. Whatever is not systematic is not sustainable. There is a law of conversion. Unless on this earth you convert spirituality to materiality, you will not see any result, because life on earth is material. Even though things are spiritual, that life is governed, supervised by spirituality. But this earth God gave to mankind. The Bible says that the heaven of heavens belong to God, but the earth God gave to mankind. You know what that means? It means that the only legal entity on earth are human beings. Angels are visitors. God lives in the heavens. Demons they're not even supposed to be here at all. Only human beings. The earth belongs to human spirits. So this earth is material. The reason we wear earth suit is so we can relate to this material world. If you remove this earth suit, we are spirit, will float away.
So how can we learn those laws?
By making up your mind to learn them. Because you can't succeed in life. The common denominator of success in life are the laws that govern the earth. Every place you meet people in any field of human endeavor that are doing well, they are obeying those laws consciously or unconsciously. What Pele of Brazil has in common with JJ Okocha of Nigeria are laws. Laws of personal discipline. Laws of the athletes are some of the richest people in the world. They observe light out. You can't just be eating by 2 a.m. and remain at the cutting edge of your athletic career. You're going to go down. If you lack discipline, you lose it all. So how can one observe them? It's by studying them, by adjusting your thinking, making up your mind to live by those laws. Is by desiring to maximize your life on earth, to reach your highest potential, to become the best version of yourself. Is by making up your mind that your life will make a contribution. That's how to take those laws seriously, because you can't succeed in life without them.
You mentioned some of them. Can you break them down a little bit?
So let's go through them one by one.
Yes,
Number one, the law of thought. What are thoughts? Thoughts are things. Thoughts are material. Nobody can rise above their thoughts. You are your thoughts. Your life is not just moving in the direction of your most dominant thought. You are your thought. You cannot be effective in life without taking control of your thoughts. In fact, the Bible goes further to say, guard your heart. Guard your heart with all diligence. For out of your heart are the boundaries of your life. Out of your heart are the course of your life. Why? Because your heart is a storehouse. The psalmist said, thy word have I hid in my heart. The heart is a storehouse. What do you store in your heart? Words. What do you store in your heart? Thoughts. Thoughts. What are thoughts? Thoughts are material things. How can I say that thoughts are material? Because the Bible says that if you look on a woman to lust after her in your heart, you have committed adultery. It means that whatever you imagine in your heart, you are deemed to have done it. All you lack is courage and opportunity.
Okay, next one.
The law of goals. Goals are dreams with a deadline. If you have set no goals in 2022, I guarantee you have achieved nothing in 2022. Bring your books. Let us see. If you did not set goals at the beginning of this year, you've not done much this year, because it's goals that will streamline your life and make you walk in a specific direction. When you set goals, your life changes permanently, because your life will move in the direction of your goal. What are goals? Dreams with a deadline. Success is moving towards the accomplishment of your goals day by day. Little effort here, little effort there. Number 3 are the law of words. Words are spiritual containers that carry life and death. At the end of time, everybody will be judged by their words. By your words you shall be justified. By your words you shall be condemned. Words. He that is slow to anger is better than the mighty. He that ruleth his spirit and he that taketh the city. When you are in control of your words, is a proof of spiritual maturity. The Bible says, in malice be children. That means that when it comes to offense, be a child. But when it comes to words, be mature. 1 Corinthians 14 verse 20. So, and the Bible says in James, said that he that does not offend in words, the same is a perfect or complete man. So the proof of maturity is completeness in words, what you speak. He said, let your speech always be, Colossians 4:6, let your speech always be with grace, seasoned with salt, that you might know how to answer everyone. That's a challenge. Learning how to talk is a challenge of a lifetime. Marriages that don't learn how to talk don't survive it. The next words. Number 4, law of time. Time is a pause in eternity. God created time to create life. The Bible says, Genesis chapter 1 verse 1, in the beginning God created the heavens and the earth. What does that mean? Beginning of what? It cannot be the beginning of God. God has no beginning. God has no end. It's the beginning of creation. We know that from Mark 10:6, it said, in the beginning of creation. So it's the beginning of creation. What was God? What is that God created? Time. Because when it says in the beginning, that word beginning means beginning of time. Time. Beginning. Beginning means time. Beginning of time. There was no beginning in God. God has no time. God lives outside of the dimension of time. In the beginning, time. God created the heaven, space, and the earth, matter. So God created time, space, and matter simultaneously. That's what happened. So time, the law of time states that whatever you do with your time is what you've done with your life. Because your time is your life. Because God created time to create life. When you kill time, you're committing suicide. When you waste time, you're wasting your life. Because what you do with time is what you've done with your life. Because your greatest resource as a person is your time. That's why one of the best things that can happen to you is to lose your job. Because for the first time, you can take control of your time and now manage your life by managing your time. You manage your life by managing your time. When you have 9 to 5, you are compulsively going to work every day. Yes, you just wake up, you come back tired. You just be going up and down. But the moment you can control time, you control your life. Because your time is your life. Number 5 is the law of purpose. Purpose. What is the law of purpose? That everything on earth is created on purpose and by purpose and for purpose. What we mean by the word purpose? Purpose is the reason why something exists or why the thing was created. If you don't know why you were created, you can't fulfill purpose. Why did God make you? Why were you sent into this world? Why are you in Nigeria? Why do you have a green passport? Don't be in a hurry to switch your passport, because God is not foolish. Who gave you a green passport? There's nothing wrong with having dual citizenship, but you cannot run from something. You have to run towards something. Don't run from being a Nigerian. Run towards equipping yourself to fulfill purpose and destiny. Purpose. There is a reason for the earth. There is a purpose for your life. There's a purpose for this world. There's a purpose why the church was created. The church is an agent of God to fulfill the agenda of God. That's the purpose of the church. The church itself is not an end in itself. It's an agent, an agency of fulfilling the agenda of God. The next law is a law of vision. All things are created twice. All things, not something. If you can see it, you can have it. If you can't see it, it's difficult to have it. To have something, you must first create it mentally, sometimes in the spiritual realm, and then you can have it physically. Whatever has entered your heart, has possessed you, you will have it. If lust enters your heart, you will commit adultery. It's a matter of time. If you want to live a pure life, have a pure heart. See purity, hear purity, live purity. If you become corrupted in your heart, it's only a matter of time you're going to fall into something else. So it's called the law of vision. The next one is the law of faith. All things are possible. All, not some. All things are possible. If you can believe, all things are possible. With God, all things are possible. All things are not only possible to God, all things are possible to the man or woman who believes in God. It's called the law of faith. The next one is called the law of prayer. Law of prayer states simply, don't worry about anything. Pray about everything. Don't forget to thank God and keep on praying until you see the answer. That's the law of prayer. If you ask anything in my name, you shall have it. Jesus said, whatever things you desire, when you pray, believe that you receive them and you shall have them. Jesus said, all things whatsoever you shall ask in prayer, believe it, you shall receive. You can ask for anything in prayer. He said, if you ask anything in my name, John 14:14, I will do. The King James Version asks the word eat. If you ask anything in my name, I will do it. But the word eat is in italics because it was added by the translators without changing the original meaning of the speaker, who in this case is Jesus Christ. What Jesus said, if you ask anything in my name, I will do. What Jesus meant that if you ask for anything in my name that does not currently exist, I will create it just for you. There is no limit to what God can do. Next one is law of action. Action, or the law of action orientation. Unless you act, there will be no result. Faith without action is dead. There are two sides of faith: believe and act. You must act on that which you believe to see results. I have been in many places in my life. I heard things, but I failed to act on them. Especially when I saw opposition, I backed off. Listen, you have to change your mindset. Put on the mindset of battle mentality. Never give up. You must be persistent. You must act. Unless you act, there will be no result. You must act without excuse. Don't make excuse in life. You have to solve the problem. Listen, do you know this? When a leader fails to solve the problem, the leader becomes the problem. When a leader fails to solve the problem, the leader becomes the problem. How do you solve a problem? Act on it. Look for solution. Look for resolution. Make up your mind. The next one is a law of systems. Unless something is systematic, it is not sustainable. A transportation system, lighting system, the systems of the body, human body is a system of systems. What does it mean to have a lighting system? It means that anybody can put on the light. As long as their hand can touch the switch, irrespective of color, complexion, age, height, width, they can put on the light. It's a lighting system. But if you do something that only you can do, it's not a system, that thing will not last because you are not always available. If you are carrying your business in a briefcase, when you travel, the business has traveled. When you are tired, the business is tired. Your business is not sustainable. It will not see the next generation. For a business to see the next generation, it must become a system that it can function with or without you. The next law is called the law of conversion. Unless you convert materiality to spirituality to materiality, it's not relevant on it. When you go to church, I have $1 million need. God does not answer prayer by sending you $1 million. He answers prayers by sending you $1 million idea. If you incubate on the idea and work on the idea and execute the idea and act upon the idea, you have your $1 million. You must act on it. You must incubate on it. You must convert it. The next one is called the law of decision. Nothing becomes dynamic until it becomes specific. You must decide. You must act. Don't be undecided. A double-minded man is unstable in other ways. Listen, why do people not act? I've been there for years. Fear of failure. Thinking that other people are better than themselves. Lack of courage. Thinking that people are doing great things because they are courageous. No. People are doing great things because they are acting despite their lack of courage. Courage is not the absence of fear. It's acting despite your fear. There's no man that is not afraid. No man born of a woman that doesn't have concerns, burdens. But courage is not the absence of fear. It's acting despite your fear. Then you be courageous. The Bible says, who became valiant in battle. Out of weakness, they were made strong. You have to run to battle. You have to put on a battle mentality. In this life, the only constant is change. Don't be afraid of setbacks. Setbacks are not failings in life. No man that goes forward fails. You will have setbacks, things that didn't work. If you keep on pushing, it will work. So the next one is the law of persistence. Don't stop pushing. Keep on keeping on. Don't give up. Tough times never last, but tough people do. Persist. Persist. Never give up. When you start a project in the name of God, finish it in the name of God. Don't give up. You may have setback. Don't give up. It's only a setback. You can make a comeback. You can do it. Keep on doing it until you succeed. The next one is called the law of attraction. Every human being is a living magnet, attracting into their lives what they are, not what they are hoping to be. You attract it. If you want to change what you're attracting, you want promotion at work, you want to attract more money at work, don't go to the management to negotiate. Sometimes you may have to just change who you are by adding value to yourself. That when you go to any meeting in the office, when you open your mouth, they will have a meeting after you need to say, don't let that man go. It's too valuable to this organization. How do you do that? Invest in your training, attend seminars, read books, meditate, challenge yourself, break barriers, and you will be promoted even when you're not asking for it. The next one is called the law of sowing and reaping. You reap in this like what you sow. God said, as long as the earth remaineth, sowing and reaping, day and night, winter, cold and winter. And he said, winter and summer, cold and heat shall not cease. Why? These are inviolable laws. Sowing and reaping is a law. Whatever you sow, you reap. You may not reap when you sow. You may not reap where you sow, but you will always reap what you sow. So whatever you want in life, sow it, you reap it. But whether you like it or not, whatever you sow, you reap. The next one is called the law of acceptance. What's the law of acceptance? Whatever you resist will persist.
Whatever you resist
will persist. See, if somebody wants your phone, don't struggle. Say them to take. If you give them, it won't be long, they'll drop it. If you struggle, they think it's more valuable, they will keep struggling with you. Somebody says, I want that. Let them take. Don't hold hard to anything. You will get tired of it. But if you resist something, to persist. If you start struggling for land with somebody, they will struggle with you. If you want land, they'll be tired. They will soon say, it's not valuable. This land, if you say it's valuable, they will fight it. They don't fight it. So they'll leave it for you. But if you fight, the more you fight, the more they'll fight back. It says acceptance. What about in marriage? Accept. I also call it love allowance. Give room to your spouse. You know what they call to cut slack to somebody. Let people be themselves around you. Let your children play. They don't want to wear shoes to go out. Let them not wear. Let them go out and play barefooted. You know why? Because if you don't do it now, when they are 40, they will do it. And they will embarrass you more there. So let your spouse have space at home. Allow them to be themselves. Don't control them. Don't make rules, do's and don'ts. No. The next one is called the law of compounding. Life compounds. Listen, first is the ear, then first is the blade, then the ear, then the full corn in the ear, because all those things compound. It's like compound interest. It's not just simple interest. If you want to get results, keep on doing what you're doing to compound over time. You know when water is trickling down from a tap, very soon to bore a hole through concrete. Just same. After months, it will create a hole.
A single drop.
Because it's not just single, little drop. Because of compounding. The next one is called the law of focus. Never lose focus. Make focus your focus as you become a focus. Focus on your focus. Focus on your focus. Don't be distracted. To lose focus is to be distracted. When you put your eye on the ball, don't take your eye off the ball until you have scored the goal. The last one, no, there's two more. This the law of marriage. We've talked about that a lot. But the law of marriage, therefore shall a man leave father and mother and be joined to his wife. The two shall become one flesh. What God therefore has put together, let no man put asunder. It's the law of marriage. Marriage is not about human beings. You also marry things by combining chemicals. When you combine them, sometimes it's difficult to separate them without irreparable damages. Sometimes it's difficult to separate a marriage without irreparable damages. So those are the laws. Where do you get our laws from? The science. Science employs them to help us discover our universe. And those that observe them rise to the top. That's why laws are very powerful.
Those are all the laws?
Sure.
Are these laws dependent on each other?
They are complementary. They build on each other.
They build on each other.
A lot. Words, faith, vision. Yes. What you see, what you say. What you say is what you believe. What you believe is what will happen.
So out of all these laws together, there is one you can pick out that is highly invaluable. Which one can you pick out that stands out among them all?
I think that they all stand out. But I think that law of action orientation. Act. Do. Don't observe the winds. Don't say, I believe God, and you're not acting on anything. The other side of a coin of faith is action. One side is belief, the other side is action. Act on your faith. Remember, nothing is impossible. So believe God and act.
So the most important law is action.
I can't say that. I just said I chose that. I cannot say there's no way to rate them. They are all important, extremely important. I don't think you can take one in exclusion of the other. I don't think you can say action is the most important one. Because if you say it's the most important one, what about if you acted without decision? Undecidedly you acted. You produce undecided results. You must believe.
Yes. So does a person have to be a Christian for those laws to work for them?
No,
or the laws
those
work for
laws
everybody?
are principles. They work for everybody. Elon Musk employs them. He works from what they call first principles for solving problems. That's a law. Bill Gates employs them. That's what they have in common. They are using those laws to build. But that does not always mean that those who use the laws know the principle that owns those laws. The lack of knowledge of the principle means you are doomed to go to hell.
So what can you say regarding obeying these laws and living effectively? How do they correlate?
When you observe the laws, that's effective living. You naturally rise to the top. When you violate the laws, because they're inviolable, you do so at your own peril. Yes.
So what's the description of living effectively?
Living effectively is maximizing life by utilizing the resource of time well, so that you are acting smartly, not just doing everything you do. You can't live effectively without essentialism. That means that you do more by doing less, because you now know your priority. That means that you are not obligated to people to the point that you're suffering and obeying. If you have made a commitment like I did, that I want to go to work tomorrow, I wrote a note. I said, it's no longer possible. I need to catch my breath, because I'm going to have because on Wednesday. If I don't rest today, which I've not rested, and tomorrow, which I must rest, I'm in trouble. So that's it.
Does having such